I was just receiving DMs left and right, bro. I was just trying to reply to everyone, which helped me narrow down my ideal customer profile. To be honest, I just didn't believe I could get one of those wins, but now we're getting there. Mind blowing for me, and certainly something that I'm gonna keep doing for the rest of my life.
I'm here with yet another Client Ascension student. Welcome to the show, Diego.
Thanks, man. Appreciate the invite.
For the audience listening in, if you can just explain a little bit about who you are and what you're currently working on.
We founded an email marketing agency 2 years ago, knowing nothing about email marketing, to be honest. My partner is the one who's the expert, more focused on the design aspect of the company, I guess. We serve e-commerce business, help them grow their email marketing revenue of their stores. We're based in Mexico, but working all over the world, man.
That's so cool. I talked to a lot of students that are having success in the program, and a lot of them, before they joined, they had just one skill set, right? For you, it sounds like that was design, and you're able to find someone to partner up with that had skill sets in other areas, like the email copywriting side and just the strategy side, which is really cool because to build a successful business and an agency and to grow it, you have to stack multiple skill sets. So it's really cool that you're partnered up with someone that complements your skill set. So you've been in the business for 2 years. I think you joined Client Ascension maybe 3 or 4 months ago. How did you hear about Client Ascension and why did you make the decision to join?
I was watching earlier the student interviews you did on the past. The thing that I always say, it's like the win Slack channel screenshots. Those were insane. People are not used to hear or read that type of wins. No one ever talks about how they closed a 5K a month client, for example, which was at the time just out of this world to even think about it. The second thing that led me to heard about Client Ascension was the cold email mastery course of Daniel. I was on this super hard focus mode and get everything done. I came across Daniel's Twitter account, Cold Email Wizard. He was just talking insane numbers, bro. And I was like, I have to test this out and see if it works. By default, after finishing the course, Daniel was also talking about the Client Ascension program. For me, it was kind of like an upsell. The course, I bought it back in last year, and I was like, I can do this by myself. This is just too much work. It's like running a whole different business. That led me immediately to seeing like all these wins on the Slack channel. I was like, bro, everybody's doing cold email there and it seems to be working. I reached out to Dylan, actually. He was like, check the contract. These are the things that we do. These are the calls that we have. We ended up not paying ourselves for 1 month or 2 previously to join Client Ascension just to make sure that we get everything in place. To be honest, I just didn't believe I could get one of those wins, but now we're getting there.
I always think it's so cool because on this call, I always ask the question, like, how'd you hear about us? And they're like, oh, through the testimonials or the tweets or screenshots of the wins channel. For 1 minute, they just don't believe it, especially when it comes to making the purchasing decision to join the program. And then all of a sudden you take a step back and you look at what we're doing right now. Like, you are now hosting wins, you're winning. So I want to talk a little bit more about when you jumped into the program. What were some of the things you did early on? I think it's so cool that you said, hey, for the first month or 2, we're not going to pay ourselves. I didn't pay myself from when I started the business for a year and a half.
2 years ago, I had like 3 full months in which I didn't receive anything. And I was just like, holy shit, what do I do? I was freelancing back then on design. I was designing websites. I was building them, Webflow.
Just for the audience, your designs are incredible, dude. We'll drop the links and we'll talk about it towards the end where you can find Diego and his work, but his designs are outstanding.
A cool thing that helped me realize I was good at this, I always liked to draw stuff and paint stuff and so on. And eventually life led me to understand a couple of things on the digital design world. So naturally, I was like, what's going to get me a couple of bucks to get through? I did that. Then I met my partner through a Facebook group. We just launched. He knew everything about email on Klaviyo for e-commerce. And I was just like, okay, let me get the designs down for you. We signed a couple of clients and then things just started rolling with processes. We started building them. What I want to tell you, it's the exact transition moment when I joined Client Ascension, because this was like breakthrough in our lives. This is a whole other level. And I just can't believe these guys are sharing this for free. That's amazing. And that's something that for sure led me to join the program as well and invest that kind of money, which maybe for recently launched agencies or companies, kind of expensive at the beginning, but 2 weeks in, you're like, bro, I think I could pay twice the price for this. And that's something important to mention because part of the models we have from you guys, it's the operations and fulfillment thing, which are insane. And we were a team of 6 people like a couple months ago, and now we're 3. And you could think like you're smaller now, but the case was that all of the things that we were doing inside Client Ascension led us to reduce the number of people that had to work with us and keep the same level of revenue. That's something I always brag about when people ask me like, hey, how's your situation going and so on. Naturally, I was like, bro, the smaller, the better. If we get to kind of like lean startup approach that exists now, it just makes sense and it clicked automatically. So we're 3 people now. We're keeping the same level of revenue. Recently launched a new offer. There's a mental model I really like, which is called the map is in the territory. So you guys give us a map. We know how to navigate through the map, but there's going to be maybe a valley or maybe an ocean there. Maybe you're not going to know how to navigate through that, but at least there's something there that you need to tackle. That's just something that popped immediately, like playbook and the map that you guys gave us immediately led us to create a new offer, which is almost equalizing the revenue that we had prior to join Client Ascension compared to the old offer that we have.
That's so cool, man. I think what you said about downsizing team is so impressive. People might hear that your company got cut down in half, but one of the KPIs that I'm always looking at is what is the revenue per employee. The most successful businesses that I know, and these are teachings from guys like Grant Cardone and even Taylor Welch is talking more and more about how can you optimize the amount of revenue coming in for each person on your staff. Because if that number is not high enough and is not meeting the standards, which you probably weren't with 6 team members, then your business is inefficient and you're not getting the most out of your team and your team's not getting the most out of the position that they're in with you. That's just a matter of time before it kind of starts to fall apart. So the fact that you're able to identify that and make certain moves and changes and adjustments to downsize to 3 is super impressive. So props to you.
Thanks, man.
One of the things you do really well too, by the way, is posting on Twitter. And you have a really unique way of doing it and showcasing your work. And you talked about how Daniel and I and Christian, we give away a lot for free on Twitter. I think you do the same thing with these free designs that you put up. And so talk about how Twitter has played a role in growing the agency.
We've done cold email campaigns, little success, to be honest. Obviously, not because of the strategy, but because things we have to still go through and just review and make those changes. I started doing Twitter content like consistently, maybe like 2 months ago, 700 followers. Obviously, all of them were like friends or relations from my past or so. And then I just started posting shit and bro, it exploded. And the thing that I like the most about the Twitter content that I'm doing is I can't keep up with the DMs that I'm receiving from people. And that's something that I dreamed of, to be honest. I just saw a couple of successful cases and I was like, how are these guys receiving so much DMs, bro? They're asking for their services or for advice or for a call. And I was like, bro, if I can get there, that will be like a dream for me. 3 weeks ago, I was actually on a vacation with a couple of friends of mine and I posted a sales asset on Twitter. That was the first one that really blew the whole thing on Twitter. I was just receiving DMs left and right, bro. I was just trying to reply to everyone. Out of nowhere, I launched this new offer and immediately I was receiving follows from my right audience, which helped me narrow down my ideal customer profile, which I back like a month or 2 months ago, I didn't fully understand. And just by posting on Twitter and interacting with everyone, I was like giving away the sales assets. My follow-up question was like, hey, what are you looking to do with this? Tell me a little bit about yourself and so on. And I just hopped on a lot of Zoom calls. That led me to really understand who am I trying to serve? What are their problems, their objections? I need to know to sell easily and make the sales process as easier as possible. If you gave me just one choice to double down on strategy for like getting more sales and more clients, definitely would be Twitter. I'm keeping those cold email campaigns running because eventually those guys that I'm contacting are going to look me up on socials and it's just going to make sense. And that small playbook was also from you guys, having guys like Dakota, the Twitter coach, guys like Chris, guys like you guys from the Client Ascension team. It's just inspiring, and everyone inside the Client Ascension program just inspires you to make more content, right? And just to connect with everyone. But it's been mind-blowing for me and certainly something that I'm going to keep doing for the rest of my life.
That's so exciting to hear, like you almost more than doubled your follower count. And most importantly, people don't really realize on Twitter is like those messages you're receiving, exactly like you said, they're asking for more information. They're interested. They're in your ICP and they're hopping on calls with you because you're providing value first through your sales asset that you pointed out. It takes a little bit more time and effort than maybe something like paid ads, but it works if you do it and you provide value. It's not in a way that's super salesy. It's in a way that's helping people. I actually just learned something from you, which is the follow-up is like, how do you intend to use this? Or why did you want this in the first place? And it's just asking the question and surveying your market. There's so much information you can gather from asking those simple questions.
One thing I want to note on this, because I think that's the whole thing that changed my mindset on Twitter about posting stuff that's actually valuable. You might think that people are going to steal those from you and become your competitors. Chris told me something really wise once. He said, the thing you're afraid to post because you think that might get stolen or something, that's the thing that you should post, because that's the actual thing that's going to trigger the potential customer that you could have. And they're going to realize that it's not as simple as it seems. If I had the skills to put a sales asset that it's like 3 pages long, it's because in reality, it should be like 100 things, which is exactly what happened when I took the course on Cold Email Mastery course. And I was telling my partner, like, bro, we need to tell the things that nobody wants to tell, because that's the actual value that people get from you. And that's the way you get them to trust you for real. A couple of weeks, they're going to realize that it's not as easy as it seems, right?
And it's not just us that's saying this, right? By showcasing those things, you're just going to sign clients. Whereas everyone else that's hiding their value is not going to come across as an expert. They're not going to come across as if they know what they need to know to get the results, and they're going to lose. You've gone through the program. I think you're maybe halfway through, so you still have some time left in here. Regardless, like, you're getting the value, you're enjoying your time in here. Right. With coaching programs in this industry in general, coaching gets a bad rep. People look at it like they're making up results. The wins channel screenshots are fake. This isn't real. This doesn't work. And so to the students or even the people considering Client Ascension, like, what advice would you have?
The first thing would be, I call it brain flushing. Brain flushing everything, being extremely over communicative. Every possible question that you might have, just throw it out there and someone's going to get you the answer. People don't realize exactly, like, this is a coaching program that you have access to every single person on the program, that it's maybe at the same level of the coaches or even above them. I just started reaching out to everyone that was posting stuff that was relevant to me on this point in time. I actually had a call yesterday with a guy, posted a win on the Wins Slack channel about cold email, and he was like, bro, let's hop on a 15-minute call right now. Dude, it's that easy to get the answers that you're looking for. Just reach out to someone that knows about the thing and you're gonna get the answer to it. If you don't even have a question, just browse through the stuff that's going inside the coaching program. There were calls which I didn't have any question, to be honest. I was just like vibing there, and then someone asked something and I was like, okay, that works for me. Community's insane. That's the real value on the Client Ascension. It's the people in there. 1 month later, they're like, hey, I signed like 5K a month. And I'm like, how did you do that, bro? And dude just gives me the playbook. So I have like 100 playbooks just go over, right? And it's just gonna work.
I feel like a lot of people sit back and wait for someone to reach out to them, but people don't know what you're struggling with or what you need help with. And so you have to ask. A lot of people feel bad to ask questions. And like, that's exactly what you're there to do. Like, your role by joining a coaching program is to extract as much value and information as possible. It's not just the coaches or the information in the modules, it's the other people in the program, because they're going through the same program. They're gonna know something that you want to know because they might be a step ahead on the journey, and then vice versa. You can serve people that are a step behind you in the journey. If everyone's in that mindset of like, how can I help the next person in this community, the community is all going to grow. And that's kind of what we're seeing in Client Ascension. And so number one thing is just to get more involved.
The moment I launched a new offer, I just reached out to everyone on Client Ascension, bro. This month, we're going to kick off 2 new clients, and the 2 of them are from Client Ascension, also students, right? I just talked to everyone who I thought was my ideal customer profile, which surprisingly are my quote unquote competitors, because I entered to the program believing I had to compete with those guys. And everything shifted the moment I started seeing everyone interacting there, like with genuine questions about, hey, how do I run this part of the operations for my agency? And they were just like sharing the secrets of their companies, and everyone was applying them. Like, I had a lot of things that I applied that I didn't know about, and I was like, okay, I gotta stop treating these guys as my competitors, and instead I have to treat them as really valuable connections to me.
I think the biggest culture is like everyone wants to help each other, and we all understand that there's enough to go around for everyone. This has been great, Diego. I want to wrap this up by giving you an opportunity to let the people know where they can find you online.
The most immediate, it's my Twitter account, which is at Diego Garza M. That's where I'm at most of the time. They could also use my email. It's diego@tryemail.com. I'm always checking at stuff. But the most connections I've had with people I don't know online, it's through Twitter, man. Just reach out to me and we can set up a Zoom call of whatever you want. And I just want to say that one last thing just to wrap it up. This is something that I'm looking for my whole life. And this is not like an exaggeration of the value that you guys are bringing. I want to thank you, man, for real.
Seriously, appreciate that so much. That's a mic drop moment. Like, I got nothing to add. Appreciate you so much, brother.
Nice, man.